A noteworthy national endeavor is underway, which is a government-led initiative to substantially enhance productivity within the public sector. This comprehensive initiative is directed to all ministries, departments, and agencies, aiming to bolster productivity significantly. The objective is twofold. 1. Enhancing service delivery efficiency, and 2. Ensuring greater accountability for public funds. Dr. Idris Dakota, Principal Secretary of the State of Department for Cabinet Affairs, emphasized the initiative's aim to align public expenditure within the quality of service and output, thereby ensuring optimal value for government spending. The concern of an inflated wage bill, constituting 46% of the country's ordinary revenue, surpassing the recommended 35%, has drawn attention. The emphasis lies on bolstering operational and labor efficiency, along with enhancing customer satisfaction. This initiative forms a crucial part of ongoing public sector reforms, mandating all government entities to incorporate productivity metrics to their performance contracts.
Productivity in this country has been a great question. When these questions arose, I think the government came along, coming up with various initiatives of measuring productivity, of trying to tackle the question of productivity, but still yet to find the right solution. It started with performance contracting. Yeah, we thought once we have the PC issue handled, then we felt like the issue of productivity or the question will be solved. But still, up to now, it's almost, I think, 20 years since the PC. We are in the 20th cycle of the PC. Still, the question of productivity is a question that hasn't been actually answered vividly. So that is why, as part of the public sector reforms, we thought it important also to focus on productivity mainstreaming and see how best we can achieve this, and tend to interrogate ourselves and answer those questions as to why is it that some countries in this continent are doing very well in terms of labor productivity and not Kenya. We look at Kenya, we have the youngest workforce or labor force in Africa, but still we are lagging behind. We are operating at 30% level, at 30%. Look at countries like Egypt, they're operating at $62,000 US. We are still working at around 14,000 labor productivity. So this shows that we are still operating at 30% vis-a-vis the developed nations such as Egypt. Egypt is one of the developed economies in this continent, and when we refer to such countries, then we are still operating at a low level. That's why this time round we found it important to have this issue to be part of the PC target and see how best we can develop the metrics and other information. I understand that there are representatives from different institutions, as I've said before. So before moving to that, let me first of all take you through the mandate of the State Department. This is the State Department of Cabinet Affairs, which was created by the Executive Order number 1 of 2023, and then again recognized under the Executive Order number 2 of 2023 in overseeing public sector reforms. And I am honored to inform you here that the President of this country is fully aware of what we are doing here, and he acknowledges the collective efforts being made here towards achieving or enhancing productivity in the public sector. Looking at our Vision 2030, it recognizes recognizes Kenya's main potential, that is its people, their creativity, work ethic, education, and the entrepreneurial and other skills. The vision clearly states that one of the main challenges is the need to have, or is the need to carry out an assessment of the productivity level across all sectors and productivity growth. So the Vision 2030 has clearly outlined the need to carry out an assessment on measuring productivity across all sectors and also the productivity growth. One of the issues that actually pushed us to this is the ballooning wage bill, which stands at 46% of the ordinary revenue, and this is against the recommended standard. PFM Act advocates for 35%. We need to operate at 35% of the ordinary revenue. But you look at the situation now, it stands at 46%, which is 11% up. This amount represents salaries and wages for only 963,200 public servants employed. To address this, the productivity enhancement in the public sector is one of the key measures the government has put in place. Productivity gains are expected to enable our economy to produce the same amount of inputs or to consume less to produce the same amount of outputs. In simple terms, less cost for more output. Thus, this training comes in and forms part of critical public sector, which is geared toward operational efficiency. This is now looking at the element of operational cost. Are we operating at the right cost as a country? Are we operating at the right cost? Or we are overcharging in whatever we are doing? Are we paying the right amount for labor? That is the first question that needs to be answered. Labor efficiency. Do we have the right workforce in this country? Do we have the right number? Do we have efficient workforce in this country? And then the third question is customer satisfaction. Are we providing quality services to our customers? Are we giving them the right service? So those are the questions that needs to be answered after this training. You need to come up with those factors that will enable us answer these three questions. As productivity mainstreaming technical committee, the facilitators here are drawn from the State Department for Cabinet Affairs, that is our State Department, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the National Productivity and Competitiveness Council, and the State Department for Performance Delivery and Management, So we have made significant progress in alignment with our action plan, and the 20th cycle of performance contracting guidelines advocates for this. In the 20th cycle, all MDAs are required to develop productivity metrics, collect data, analyze that data, and compute productivity a productivity index. And that's why we have organized for this training. This is a 3-week training period which started from November 20th to 8th December. So our expectation is after this training, you'll be able to, 1, develop labor metrics, which will address key elements of productivity, and one element of productivity is cost. So once you develop the productivity labor metrics, we'll be able to address the question of 1, which is cost, and we talked about operational efficiency that is covered under cost. Then the other one is quality. Are we providing the right? Are we providing a quality service? And lastly, delivery. So, in other words, those elements are referred to as quality, cost, and delivery, QCD. So our expectation number 1, once after this training, you'll be able to come up with labor productivity metrics, which will help us in collecting data. So number 2, I'm expecting you to also gain skills to collect data on labor productivity. And number 3, I'm also expecting you to be able to analyze and compute a productivity index. Lastly, I'll be expecting you also to design a productivity improvement strategy in your institutions. As participants, I implore each of you to be champions of productivity mainstreaming within your respective MDAs. Your proactive involvement will not only elevate your individual capacities, but it will also play a pivotal role in our collective vision. That is, we are envisioning to have a more productive and efficient governance system. So I urge you, let us seize the knowledge imparted here and translate it to a tangible action, forging a path towards realization of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
You are watching Media One International, always fast and fast. Like, share, and subscribe.